So what are we doing on track with a nearly 20-year-old Mustang? Well, it's all about club spec.
So one thing our Mustang really has going for it, I think, is great bones. This is a very predictable car, even though the limits are not very high. In fact, the limits are pretty low because it's on some pretty nasty tires. And it does have trouble getting power to the ground now with this worn out diff. But golly, the steering is better than it really has any right to be. And the road holding is actually surprisingly good. And as long as you don't do too much to upset it, and you take your time a little bit, it kind of goes where you point. And I'm really looking forward to having a few more high performance parts on this thing, and it's going to be an awful lot of fun. Right now, it really just rewards slow, steady inputs. Don't transfer that weight too quick. Don't try and make it do anything it doesn't want to do. And it rewards you by just being very benign and very easy to drive. And I think it's only going to get better from here.
No, it's not a brand new 2025 Mustang GT. It is a 2006 4.6 liter Mustang GT that we are building for the SCCA's Club Spec class. So why are we building one of these cars? Well, the simple answer is this class is hot. At the very first solo nationals that this class was eligible for, there were nearly 25 cars competing in that class. These are folks that jumped into the very first year of the existence of this class and said, yes, this is someplace we want to be. So look, we are never ones to avoid a good popular bandwagon. We love going places where there is tight competition, an enthusiastic group of people, and very cool cars that are a heck of a lot of fun to drive and look like they mean business on track. The limitations that we have to work under are fairly straightforward, but also really increase the fun quotient of this car. Now, these specs have been designed by experts in the field, guys like Sam Strano, who's been campaigning and winning in Mustangs for decades. And they know exactly what it takes to make these cars reliable and a heck of a lot of fun and very, very competitive. So it may come as no surprise that a lot of the parts for both the Club Spec Miatas and the Club Spec Mustangs like ours are available from Tire Rack. In fact, you can go to Tire Rack's site and you can basically select a Club Spec sort of part-by-part checklist to be able to get all of the parts you need for your Mustang, make it legal, make it competitive, get them right from one stop. And it's probably no surprise that Tire Rack is a great supporter of videos just like this one and a lot of the stuff we do here at Grassroots Motorsports. So I'm going to backdoor this ad right in here for a Tire Rack. You can go check them out online at TireRack.com for all of your wheels and tires needs and performance parts and all kinds of great stuff for any car that you are driving on track. The one downside possibly to this category of cars is this is an era of cars that may have been treated a little bit rough. So finding one, while there's a ton of them out there, some of them can be a little bit rough around the edges. Now, when we were talking to experts about these cars, there really maybe is no magic formula for which car to buy. Do you want to go early and get a 2006? Do you want to go later and get a 2009? Well, people say the early cars are a little bit lighter. People say the later cars are a little bit stiffer. It tends to be a little bit of a wash. So ultimately, what you want to do is you want to buy on condition. You want to find the best example that meets your needs anywhere in the lineup of those Mustangs. So the real question is, what do we have on our hands and how is this thing on track? Now, the condition that it's in now obviously is not the condition we'll ultimately be competing with it in, but we wanted to get a little bit of a baseline. We wanted to kind of feel out exactly what we had. So we took it to our official test track, the Florida International Rally and Motorsports Park in Keystone Heights, Florida, and We ran the VBox data on it. Of course, all of our test cars are run with VBox data on board. And to be frankly honest with you, it was way better than it had any right to be. But let's see where it sort of stacks up as a track car. Now, just looking at this speed distance curve here, I see a couple of things that I like. For one thing, in this area right here in the turn 8 section of the firm, that is this left-hand sweeper right here, we can see this line is fairly flat. Now, what I'll see frequently from front-wheel drive cars especially is more of a W shape to this line, where the entry speed drops a little bit, the mid-corner speed picks up a little bit, and then the exit speed drops a little bit, because there's a little bit of a bank in the middle of that corner, and the entry and the exit of that corner fall off a little bit. I'm not seeing as much speed variation here, so I'm actually seeing a fairly stable, fairly neutral car with pretty good grip in a variety of situations. So I want to bring up another chart here. This is going to be the chart for the latest Mazda MX-5 Miata that we have tested. Miata's in red. But what I'm seeing here is our clapped out old Mustang is not really giving up as much as I would expect it to a brand new factory showroom fresh sports car, especially in the cornering department here. We can see that the Miata can get out of the middle of these corners a little bit quicker with just a tiny bit of additional speed. Let's look at our minimum speed differences. We're looking at 47.3 miles an hour for the Mustang versus 48.3 miles an hour for the Miata, going through the firm's turn 5 there. So 1 mile an hour in speed difference. There's a lot to work with there, if you ask me. And we're also seeing that this Mustang is clearly faster down the straightaways. It's accelerating harder and pulling to a higher top speed than the Miata, although we then see the Miata's deceleration happen a little bit quicker, a little bit steeper line on deceleration. Better brakes are going to do a lot for this Mustang. So overall, I look at this and I'm not nearly as afraid as I thought I would be, based on seeing the condition of this car and driving it from the paddock to the pit lane, because it was making some horrifying noises. But man, once you get that thing out on track, what a fun car, and it's only going to get better from here. I have really, really high hopes for this Mustang, both in an autocross situation and in a track situation. So our 2006 Mustang makes its entry to the big GRM tally board at a 124.7 second lap of the firm, and we can see when we flip the board over that is going to put it solidly in the top 36th place. Now, that may not seem impressive just yet, but let's look at some of the company that it's in. If you look, it doesn't have that far to go before it's taken over stuff like the Nissan Z, the 2022 GTI, the Elantra, and even the 2021 Civic Type R is not out of reach for this car. And, I think that maybe with a little bit of work, we are looking at something very, very similar to this Mustang Dark Horse, especially once we get those excellent Goodyear tires on it, those Koni shocks, and get this car sorted. If you want to follow along with the build of this 2006 Mustang, go to grassrootsmotorsports.com, hit that Project Cars tab, and you will find it and all of our project cars right there on that page. And of course, you can check us out on the web anytime at grassrootsmotorsports.com. Before you go, do me a favor, go down here, hit that like button, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We really appreciate you stopping by. We cannot wait to see you and our Mustang next time at the track.
Want to see more content like this? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. And for more information, visit us online at grassrootsmotorsports.com.